That's right. Welcome to the Fox's Den. Today we are going to be coloring with plastic crayons, however you say it. Right now you'll see me just showing the plastic crayons we're going to use. The Faber Castell crayons I got from Amazon, and the hexagon ones I got from Temu. So of course I always just like to jump into the video. I am actually using an adult coloring book, which is a color by number book to color in with these different crayons. So I started out using the Faber Castell crayons. And as you see, I had pre-colored one of the wings because I just wanted to see if it was going to work because they didn't look real. But let me tell you some things about plastic crayons. Like, why would you want to get plastic crayons? First of all, they said that they're more durable. And I say they say because I didn't try to break one, okay? They say they're erasable. I made a mistake and I tried to erase, but it doesn't erase all the way, but I mean, it is somewhat erasable. It states that it's made from like a synthetic type material. It was so funny because one of the things I asked, I said, what are plastic crowns? And it said, plastic crowns are crowns made from plastic. I was like, oh, really? It's like, okay, then be like that. But another thing that they said is that they are smooth to use. They're more smoother to use than wax. I would debate that. Now, they're smoother to the touch, but as far as to color with, what I did was, I laid down the crown on this paper, and this paper is excellent paper. Then when I went through the smoothing out process, I used Gamma-Seal. I always add an extra syllable in there. Gamma-Sol. Mine says Studio Solve. It must be the bootleg brand, but it still works the same. But yes, I use Gamma-Sol, a Gamsol, to smooth out or to like remove whatever plastic that may have been left on this particular page so that it looked a lot smoother. I tried to blend them, the colors, I have to, give them, I have to give credit where credit is due. They did have a lot of colors that were in the same color family. That's why I went with the blue, but they didn't blend really well. I mean, they really didn't. I pressed down as hard as I could because I had to really make, the color look somewhat vibrant. And then, like I laid the light color down and then I laid the blue color down on top of it, the light color down and then the darker color down on top of it. But it wasn't like I could like do a blending transition with these crayons. Now you saw me just use my finger because I was using the blending stick and it really wasn't blending as well as I wanted it to. This isn't my first rodeo with trying to blend crayons, and I know how they usually work or how like wax crayons normally blend when you put Gamma-Sol on them or Vaseline or baby oil, and I was trying to get that same effect. But let me just say this, it was a struggle. Yes. Another feature that I like about plastic crayons is that they said they can be sharpened like a pencil. I was like, all right, now they can be sharpened like a pencil. I'll have to try that. I did not try that. This whole video was just about me using them to color in an adult coloring book and just smoothing out the plastic or the residue that's left on the page with Gamma-Sol. Now you do see where I went in, with my coloring pencil and I tried to like, touch up some of the areas. This is me using my blending stick to try to smooth out the tail on the bird. It's so funny, that thing can be used as a nail file. I use it to clean off the different colors of my blending stick in between colors. I will say this, it was very fun to do this. It was. I kept saying to myself, blend, 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 blend. Another question I kept asking myself is, okay, why am I doing this? I said, oh, that's right, for a video. Because this is not something after getting this far, into coloring the bird, I was like, I wouldn't do this on a regular basis. I wouldn't lay this as a base on my pictures on a regular basis. I will say this. Um, they're waterproof. It says that, plastic crowns are pretty much water resistant. And I tested that out because when I completed the page, the entire page, I used some watercolor and it did not impact, the bird or, that part of the paper at all because it was protected by the plastic crayons. All right, well, I just wanted to share some information with you just about plastic crayons. I just like having them. How about that? Y'all know, if you don't know, I'm a big Crayola fan. I try to have all of Crayola's, coloring products so I can use them. I normally lay them as a base, meaning that I lay them down first to cover up all the white spaces and then add in shading on my adult coloring pages. So when I saw these plastic crayons, I wanted to give them a try. And let me just say this, when I show you the final picture, I say wax again, and I really mean plastic. All right. Well, I am going to let you enjoy the rest of me coloring this picture. This is me starting on the other wing, so you can see me color the whole thing. And the struggle was real, but it was fun, okay? If you have any questions about these, let me know in the comments. Do you have plastic crayons? You should get some just to have some fun with. Yeah. I'm definitely going to use them. I'm not going to be like that, like get some stuff and be like, okay, this is horrible and throw it in the corner. I'm not going to do that because I don't want it to get jealous on the shelf when all the other crayons get, used and they're not getting used. No one wants to do that. All right, guys, here we go. I'm going to color the rest of the page. All right, so all right. So this is the final picture. Now, this particular bird, I colored him with those wax crowns. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So with these hexagon crowns and our Faber Castell crowns. So yes. Now what I actually did, of course, I showed I showed you the photo, or I showed you this page before I added all this stuff to it. But I've been buying a lot of acrylic paint. So I wanted to see if I could take the acrylic paint and take out some of the lines. And I attempted it here and just some other places on this, on the greenery. And it was a good little experiment, I will say that. I did use watercolor for the actual background that's purple, and I went over it with some colored pencil. And I used some different crowns for this particular bird because he was really small, and the wax crown, plastic crowns were slipping out of my hand. So I used some different crowns for the red bird. But this was an interesting experiment. Would I color with plastic crowns all the time? No, I wouldn't. I use my plastic crowns to do backgrounds. And you will see in some other pages, that I'm coloring and I'm creating videos for me using those crowns for backgrounds. And using them for backgrounds is just amazing. I love to use them for backgrounds. So yes. So, okay, so we used our watercolor. We used our crowns. We used colored pencils. We used acrylic paint. And we used watercolor. Amazing. Amazing. So guess who's on deck next? Yes, Vic. All right, next video will be me coloring in this book with these big crowns. Let's do it. Thank you for stopping by the Fox's Den. Make sure you watch my supply haul video so you can see all the supplies that I have, and I'll be bringing you videos on how I use them in the Fox's Den. All right, like I always say, color with crowns and keep it foxy. Peace.